Okay, perfect. All right, now being 5:45, I'll call the October 24th meeting of the Old Colony Planning Council Finance-Audit Committee to order. First item on our agenda is the accessibility statement, and I'll read that at this time. And accessibility statement and the Title VI non-discrimination statement. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon request. If you'd like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. The notice of non-discrimination rights and protections to beneficiaries with regard to the federal Title VI non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is posted in this meeting room and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Mary, can we jump into the roll call?
You can. Chair, Treasurer Christine Joy.
Present.
Lee Hartman.
Present.
Stephen Santasonio.
Present.
Yolanda Spinola.
Present.
And for staff, besides myself, Charles Kilmer, Sean Noel, and Megan Fournier.
And for the record, the laundry's done, so no more buzzing.
Okay, perfect. That's a relief. Thanks, Lee.
Who's folding it?
It's great to have the comic relief.
It's always folding it late.
Yeah. Okay, so next item on the agenda is the September 2023 meeting minutes from the Finance Audit Committee meeting. Did everybody get a chance to read those? Any questions or comments, recommended changes for the minutes? Do we have a motion to accept them as submitted?
I'll make that motion.
All right, so we've got a motion, Stephen. I'll second the motion.
And just for the record, Noreen O'Toole from the town of Whitman has joined us. So
Great, welcome, Noreen.
so on the motion,
So it was a motion from Stephen. I seconded the motion. Mary, could we do roll call for acceptance of the September 2023 meeting minutes?
Treasurer Joy,
Accept.
Stephen Santasonio,
Accept.
Lee Hartman,
Except.
Yolanda Spinola,
I'm gonna abstain just because I wasn't at that meeting.
there, and Noreen O'Toole. Oh. Noreen, we didn't hear you. Did you guys hear her?
Nope.
Okay,
Great.
perfect.
Noreen accepted. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now on to the September 2023 financials. Sean, are you ready to take the helm here?
So bear with us. This is the first time Megan and I have driven this together. So, but effectively at the end of September, we are in good financial condition. We are showing a 3.07% budget surplus. Statement of expenditures report, which Megan has on the screen, shows total expenses for the month of $272,174.37. Now to the cash position report. Shows income for the month of $364,000. Very good. $364,809.74. Disbursements for the month were $460,690.62. Total cash available at the end of the month was $2,001,294.78. The OPEB account had a loss of $21,899.32, bringing the ending balance in the OPEB account to $990,788.46. Budget resources report. Cash receipts being $364,809.74 brings the total year-to-date receipts to $1,139,060.99. AAA report. Outstanding balance for AAA pass-through programs was $852,424.58. Let's see here. Outstanding balance for AAA admin and ombudsman programs was $155,472.44. This brings total outstanding balance for all AAA programs to $1,007,897.02. Voluntary transportation account beginning balance was $169,898.72. Restricted fund payments to volunteers were a total of $1,292.98. Donations received were a total of $592.67, bringing the ending balance in the fund to $169,198.41. ROM statement and activity. Balance at the beginning of the month was $169,429.12. Receipts were $8,350, bringing the total receipts for the year to $25,050. Expenses were $13,285.10, bringing the total expenses to date to $35,104.75. Budget reports. The spend to date percentage rate at the end of December was 21.93%. I'm sorry, September, not December, was 21.93%. The ideal percentage in the third month of the fiscal year would be 25%. So at month's end, we are running a 3.07% budget surplus. So on page 1, expenditures at the end of September were a total of $653,206. Budget allowance expenditures remaining at the end of September were a total of $2,978,796. Page 2, projected grant income is at the end of September is $2,978,796. So if you go through, actually, Meg, stay on that page, please. So some of the changes in the budget in income and revenue have been highlighted in pink. A few of them that you'll notice. EDA, Regional Water Study, projected income has been decreased because the original number included contractual funds, which are pass-through funds. So obviously we want to count those as income. They're just simply going to flow through. EDA also an East Bridgewater Sewer Line grant. This is a new grant that has been added. EDA also, Brownfields grant has been decreased due to work beginning later than originally anticipated, which will take the income out of the budget year. Narragansett Bay grant funds have been increased from the original projected amount. Avon Safe Harbor grant, this is a new grant that has been added. And then the Avon MVP, which is a new grant also, which has been added. So on page 3, no real changes. Projected pass-through income remains at $1,719,329. And then following that is a list of the combined AP and cash transfers for the month of September. And that's everything.
Great. Any questions for Sean on the 2023 financials?
Great job, Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah, nicely done. All right, so do we have a motion to accept the 2023 financials as presented?
Lee Hartman, so moved.
All right, we have a second.
I will second that. I'm
All right,
sorry.
Stephen seconded, so we've got a motion by Lee and a second by Stephen. Mary, can you do a roll call vote?
Yes, Christine Joy,
Accept.
Lee Hartman,
Accept.
Yolanda Spinola,
Except,
Stephen Santusonio,
Accept.
and Noreen O'Toole.
Accept.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, on to the 2023 audit update. So Sean, you're on for that one as well.
Okay, so at this point, let me see here. Brenda actually called me today. The draft audit has landed in her inbox. With her being away, she has not had an opportunity to review it. And Jennifer, the auditor from CLA, is actually going to be out of town for the rest of the week. Brenda has every intention of, tearing apart the draft on Thursday, getting into it and finding out. Primarily, this determines what journal entries may need to be made. And so, like I said, she will begin to get on that as soon as she gets back. And I believe the anticipated special meeting date for that is the 7th of November, and she anticipates being fully ready as well as Jennifer.
So if I can just interject as well, in the process at this point, as Sean had indicated, Brenda's going to take that, but we're also going to look at it internally first before, but then send it out as soon as we can with anything that we may have either some questions on to the member, so you can have the proper time frame to take a look at it. The original intention was to have it for this coming, to not have so many meetings. It just, as Sean said, between vacation schedules and timing, it just wasn't, the stars weren't aligning. But you know, this is probably the most important piece of our work that not only the staff, but also the board needs to take action on. So, so as Sean said, it will be a special meeting, and we'll make sure that all board members have it well in advance. So if there are any questions, but we'll also offer, if a board member wants to have a special sit down with us as staff and review it in advance. So that's our next steps as it relates to that audit.
Mary, so Jennifer will be there on the 7th as well?
That is correct.
Great, thank you. Okay, on to OPEB update, and Mary, you've got that one.
I do. And just today I found out that our Matt Feeney, who used to work for Murphy, Hesse, Toomey Lahane, has left them. So we have a new person. I'm in contact with them, but we're still on a move. What I said to the to them is that, you know, we're ready to go. The OPEB trust declaration has been voted on. There was a bit of a time frame where there was a delay, but then reconfirming the language with Murphy, Hesse, Toomey Lahane. And then I think there's a lot of new members that have come onto this board since a year ago. So having not only today, but also at the council meeting, and again, having a review of why we're doing this and our next steps. So so that's where we are today. I don't have that language yet looked at by Murphy, Hesse, Toomey Lahane. That's the first step. And then we're going to get it out to the council members. In the process of, just pull that up. The process would be like creating the committee. So Christine and Becky, I know I had, we had some separate conversation internally. We said, well, one of the original issues was that having one council member serve as the, Charlie, what's the name?
Executor?
Thank you. Executor, kind of the point of contact. Thank you.
Custodian.
Thank you. And then because of the true essence of us trying to be transparent, having, you know, that certainly would be easier just dealing with one person and having to go through all of this. But in reality, is being transparent and having, you know, the representative of a retiree of OCPC, and then having a person of financial background, that those both need a ballot, and then having an OCPC staff member, that's a vote that needs to be, that's a ballot vote. And then there's the two appointments, the appointments of a council member and then appointment of a council officer. So those were the 5. And, you know, when we internally discussed, this is Charlie, Brenda, Sean and I, we sat down, we really did. It's actually just more transparent. It has more eyes on it, more of a decision-making. Lee, I think in my notes, I said that we're going to need to probably call a bylaw, just because the treasurer, there's a, you know, in terms of having that language being part of the bylaw, that we can play catch up. It's not eminent that it has to be that, but we probably should make it clean. So the language should be similar. So we will look to do that as well. But I think just for us to get through an update to the council members, have a review. And then I will probably reach out to each of the council members just to see if there's any specific questions why, you know, why we're doing this. But I looked at the number of people that are new since a year ago, and there are quite a few, and just having a refresher while we still move forward and getting a report back from Murphy, Hesse, Toomey Lahane. So, so that's the status of the OPEB.
Thank you, Mary. So you didn't, if I remember from your notes, you anticipated some of this coming together in January?
Correct.
Okay, great.
The goal, that was my goal until I heard from Murphy, Hesse, Toomey Lahane saying,
Okay.
oh, we've got 2 more people in front of you. So I'll be staying right in touch with, her name is Catherine, Catherine Hesse. So the time frame is, you know, an October meeting, we're just going to do an FYI, starting with the finance meeting tonight, and then again tomorrow night with the council meeting, November is the summit, so, we'll use that time just to maybe reach out to different council members if they have any questions. December, there's no meeting, so we would be looking to have all of this be finalized in January. That means ballots out, that means appointments being made. And appointments would be certainly the chair. But I would think we will solicit board members who would have an interest in serving and do it very transparent and very open.
Great. Thank you, Mary. That sounds great. All right. Our next meeting will be the review of the audit on November 7th. And then the regular Finance Audit Committee meeting, that's an if needed, Mary, on November
Actually,
28th? Or
I'm just looking, Sean, I know you said November, there is a finance audit on November 28th. November 28th is the special finance audits committee. Megan, am I right in that? Where are you?
No, so
Nope.
Yeah.
we have the special finance meeting that's for the audit specific is November 7th, Tuesday,
is
November 7th at 6 o'clock. And then our regularly scheduled finance audit committee meeting is at least currently scheduled for Tuesday, November 28th.
But that November 7th date is not on this agenda, correct?
correct.
I apologize, so
Okay. That's all right. They
We
now
would
know.
not, we would not be ready to present October financials on November 7th. So that's why.
No, I knew that
the
too,
primary
Sean.
purpose, I think, would be the 28th would be.
Yes, it was, because that's the
Yep.
only date that Jennifer could make it from CLA, so
Correct.
Right.
I knew that.
Okay, great.
All right.
So then let's see. And then we got the council on the 7th. So anybody have anything that they wanted to bring up? Any questions, concerns? All right, how about a motion to adjourn? I see
Lee,
Steven's
I'll
hand,
make that motion.
and Lee just lit up, so I think that's a
Second.
second. All
Steven,
right, thank you everyone for coming tonight. So
best wishes to your daughter and to
thank
you.
you. I'll keep you
Yes.
posted.
Please do.
All right. Good night,
Pictures.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.